Welcome back to my channel. It's time for a recap of Selling Sunset Season 6, Episode 2. First of all, I saw your videos. Not your videos, your comments on Episode 1 recap. Thank you so much. I'm going to be heading back to respond to those after I'm done shooting these next two recaps. So, do you know how we were introduced to Bre Tiesi, one of Nick Cannon's baby mamas in Episode 1? Well, and she's a badass, by the way. I love her. This episode, we're introduced to another new cast member, and her name is Nicole, but she's a little bit special in that she's new to us, but not new to the Oppenheim group. In fact, she's one of their longest standing realtors and one of their most successful agents as well. So this is quite interesting. And not only that, but yes, let me go ahead and spoil it for you. She used to date Jason too. We really need to talk about how this man gets around in his own office. I am telling you, when I find the time, we're going to dig deep on that because it is just not cute. Now, another thing that's interesting is she looks familiar to you, then that might be because Nicole actually was the fabulous woman who officiated Mary's wedding. So they are besties, right? So she and Emma are meeting up with Chelsea. Chelsea's showing them a home for one of her clients. And this client is some sort of a basketball agent for a team or an owner of a team in Australia. So it's a stunning home. It includes a basketball court. Apparently, LeBron James and some WNBA players play there regularly. Like it's really quite special. So Chelsea tells them that it's not going to be an exclusive listing to her. The seller actually wants her to co-list it with somebody else. And so Emma and Nicole are trying to tell Chelsea, don't do it. It's more hassle than it's worth. And so when Nicole was really going in on like how it's not a good idea to co-list, like it kind of sets the tone for figuring out why she's got beef for a certain someone in the office who goes none other by the name of Chrishell. So apparently Nicole was forced to co-list a home with Chrishell when she just started out at the Oppenheim group, and we're going to get into that later. But for now, all she says is that Chrishell is someone who's willing to do anything to benefit herself and her image. Listen, let me tell you something. Ever since the first season of the show, if you guys go back and watch my recaps, I said there's something about Chrishell that is just not authentic. I think it's an act. I think like we're going to one day like see through the veneer. I'm not saying she's a horrible person. I'm just saying I don't think she's who she represents herself as being. So these little comments from Nicole, and I know Christine used to say the same thing. They're not surprising to me. Why don't we just say that? Now, let's get back into baby mama number 6, Bre Tiesi. So Bre Tiesi, something that's really odd to me is that she is this fabulous woman, right? Who knows all these billionaires and extremely wealthy people who are buying homes that are worth at least $12 million. Yet somehow she wound up as baby mama number 6 in Nick Cannon's harem. I'm like, really, girl? Like you have all this going for you and this is what you wound up doing with your life? I don't understand it. There's a group meeting at the Oppenheim group for all of the agents. And at this point, Bre decides to confront Chelsea about the ambush, that slick little ambush that she tried to pull on her at the broker's opening party. Remember, just to recap, Chelsea knows 2 women who used to model with Bre and heavily dislike Bre, and Bre dislikes them as well. And she brought them to the broker's opening and played dumb about like not knowing that there was some sort of a relationship there prior. And one thing that was quite interesting was that it was exposed by Chelsea that like one of those girls was a billionaire. And I'm like, wait a second, like this girl's a billionaire and she's doing like, kind of like boxing modeling with like Bre Tiesi and just like other random, people. When I think of like, ringside models, I'm thinking of just like, random girls looking to make a couple $100 or something for the weekend. So I don't understand why a billionaire heiress would need to do that. You would think that her parents would have better connections, that was quite fascinating to me, but I digress. Did that stick out to anyone else? And like I said, I really like Bre. So one thing about her is that you can tell she's got FU money. And I said this is kind of vulgar, but I think she's got like balls, man, like huge ones, like she will take you down in front of everyone. Like she will see through your BS. Like she's not going to like cower or anything like that. And that is something I truly love and admire. So now Chelsea, she's actually has the audacity to be pissed off at Bre for calling her out, which was kind of funny, right? She's also pissed off that Bre didn't have to sell a house in order to get into a brokerage the way that she had to in order to prove herself. Now, this story comes out that Chelsea had actually, like, looked at Bre's Instagram and she found mutual friends. She's like, hey, let me hit up these girls for some tea. That's funny to me because I'm that type of person too. Like, when I'm not like for like enemy purposes, because I don't really have any, but like, for example, if I'm like starting to like date someone or whatever, like, and then we add each other on Instagram, I'm gonna see who our mutual friends are, and I'm gonna reach out and be like, what's the tea on this guy? You know what I mean? Like, I like that type of stuff. So that was funny. And so yeah, so the friend said, wait a minute, Bre Tiesi is selling real estate. I don't know nothing about that. We used to be ringside models together, so that's interesting. But listen, like, maybe she wasn't selling real estate at the time, but it doesn't mean she's not doing it now, and she's not rocking at it either, right? Like, this stuff is public information. The MLS is public. So Bre's selling real estate, and you see the receipts. The Bre is selling real estate. Damn it. Now, like I said earlier, Chelsea is pissed off at Bre for having the balls to confront her in front of the entire office. But it's like, girl, you tried to set her up for conflict in front of the entire office and a bunch of other brokers and clients. So hush up a little bit. Now, Chrishell is talking to some friends here at this point, and she's saying, this is a little bit upsetting. And I believe she was talking to Amanda, that like all my friends are getting to know, like, G Flip and stuff, my new significant other. But my friend Mary, who is supposed to be one of my besties, has not really taken the time. And so that sucks, which I understand. And she also asked Amanda if she has felt that the new girl, Nicole, was being like cold towards her at the Brokers Open or anything like that. And Amanda didn't notice anything, but that doesn't surprise me because, to be honest, I think Amanda lives in her own world. Like, yeah, she's interesting. Listen, this is a good photo of the outfit she wore to the beach house, but like in motion, it looked like really odd. And I just feel like her outfits and her makeup and like even her hair sometimes is like really just like the most random things put together. They're nice individually, but then put together, it's like, what is this? But I will admit, this looks like surprisingly nice in photo, because yeah, when you go back and watch the episode, it's something, let's say. So yeah, she's living in her own world. She didn't notice. And so now she says that Nicole didn't want to give her credit for a co-listing and blah, blah, blah. And she doesn't understand like why she's still hanging on to that, because ever since that co-listing, Chrishell has actually been giving her business, like whenever she's out of town, because remember, Chrishell is an actress and whatnot. And so she's busy. And then she used to date be married to that guy from that big show. What is that big show with the 3 siblings and then the dad passed away and whatnot? Like, This Is Us. So like she had a lot going on. And so she would send business to Nicole. So she doesn't understand why Nicole has it out for her. Listen, I would not understand it either. Now, Bre, you guys know I keep telling you I love her and I'm obsessed with her, but I will say that I was turned off by her when in this episode she like proudly proclaimed that she's not a girl's girl. She was saying something to the effect of, I'm not normally a girl's girl, but I really like Heather. I'm like, how do you as a woman say that? Like in this like misogynistic, patriarchal world, just look at your own like kind of like, I'm sorry, but like messed up like baby daddy situation. Like this is what you champion over female friendships, like, men like this dysfunctional. Okay. Now, again, so she and Heather are checking out this mansion together. It was really hot this day because the girls were complaining. They said something to the effect of 90 something degrees. You guys know, being Canadian, I don't know what 90 something degrees means, right? But I imagine it's very hot. So this is the mansion that they were looking at, and it was really gorgeous and stuff. And they talk about how Chelsea is shady for trying to set up that ambush. And she's someone who always wants to be the center of attention. And if she feels like someone is kind of threatening that, then she will try to sort of bite back. And that is what they're seeing in regards to her having it out for Bre Tiesi, being the new girl and a superstar real estate agent. Now, Bre kind of opened up about her own life, and it turns out that she was married for only 1 year to a pro athlete who goes by the name of Johnny Manziel. I will have to go ahead and dig into this because I wonder what happened there. She sounds deeply troubled and traumatized from this relationship, and I feel like for a marriage to only last 1 year, like, yeah, something big had to have happened for you to just like throw in the trowel, like right at the starting line, So yeah, and just like the way she talks about like, this resulting in her not really trusting people or like believing in monogamy, I'm like, oh, something messed up happened. I wonder if it's him or like her friends that she had at the time. There's something there. And I feel sorry for her that she had to go through that and that it did this to her. By the way, let's get into Nicole. So Nicole, she was only introduced this episode, but she really wants to make her mark, and she's doing it by going after Chrishell. So I don't love it because at this point we don't know her, and it makes her look bitter and just mean to come in guns a-blazing for someone, especially against someone that people kind of champion as the darling of the show, right? So I don't think it's going to have the effect that she wants it to have, but I digress. So she says that she doesn't think that Chrishell was as into Jason as Jason was into her. Listen, I could see why she said that. I feel like from Chrishell's perspective, she wanted someone to have kids with, and she wanted someone to take care of her financially. Not that she needs it, but like that's like something nice to have, right? Like a man who's able to do that and provide and stuff. And Jason is that guy. He's a boss, and that obviously is attractive. And then Jason towards Chrishell, he wanted like a sweet lady who was just nice and doting, and that's what she was. I don't know that you could say one was more into the other, but I can see where she's saying, to me, it was more, I don't see any chemistry between the two of them. And so she says that Jason put Chrishell on her listings from the very beginning because he always had a crush on her. And I kind of wonder if that's what she's bitter about, because remember, spoiler alert, Nicole used to date Jason. I wonder if he dumped her for the same reasons he dumps everyone, right? They want like real advancement and commitment, and he's not able to provide that. And so maybe she was scared that he was going to finally do it with Chrishell, and that's why she's kind of been going for her so hard. Who knows? So when it comes to selling the house, Nicole claims that Chrishell didn't do any open houses. Like she really just didn't do anything. And so that's odd to me because Chrishell says that she did a couple of open houses when it came to trying to get that thing sold. Where does the truth lie? Probably somewhere in the middle. And then, she just kept on getting fired up. She's talking to Mary, and Mary is like, she is like the queen of Jason's world, right? No matter what girlfriend he has in the moment, Mary's always going to be his queen. It doesn't matter that Mary's married to someone else. That's his queen. So like, don't be out there talking crap about him with like his right-hand woman, right? But she just was like, oh my God, like Jason, like it was so bad. And then he like threatened to fire me if I didn't keep my mouth shut about it. I'm like, that sounds weird. That sounds unethical. That sounds like odd. Like there's just so many like odd, unprofessional things going on here. And Mary obviously wants to stay out of it. She doesn't want to like, come down on her bestie or anything like that. So she says, why don't you set up a three-way meeting with Chrishell and Jason to discuss this? And I'm like, what do they need to discuss? This thing happened many years ago. Like, Nicole, I know you need a storyline when you come in here and a connection to the other girls, but this is just not it. This is not a good look to start off like very negative on a negative foot. And I'm hoping that she turns things around because I want to like her. Like I said in my episode 1 recap, I'm loving this new cast. I think it's great. I liked Christine on it as well, but I think that like, it was over at that point. They felt like they didn't need to do anything with her there, and she was carrying the show on her back. But this time I feel like people are stepping up to do their own thing. But Nicole, don't box yourself. Ask Davina what happens when you box yourself in as that negative, like critical person with nothing else going on for you. It just doesn't end well. But I digress. What did you guys think of the second episode of the show? Was Bre Tiesi right to confront Chelsea in front of the entire group about that stunt she tried to pull? Does Chelsea have a right to be upset about Bre for being ambushed like that? Let me know in the comment section down below. And who do you think is telling the truth between Nicole and Chrishell? Let me know. And as usual, we'll chat. Take care.